Stephen King, the king of horror. And like some other genres that he's not as good at, he's okay, and we just ignore those ones, but mostly the horror stuff. Yeah. Teens will often skip right to Stephen King. They'll go past the YA stuff and just ignore it. But I think that YA horror has some good merits to it. So I'm here to recommend 5 novels that'll give King a run for his money. He's got a lot of money. It'll give him a run for like his pocket change. Okay, let's move on. So, the first book I have is The Coldest Girl in Cold Town. I know she looks okay on the cover. Now, this might not be Salem's Lot, but it definitely has its own twist on vampires, which I think is pretty cool. In this world, vampires are forced to live in walled-off cities called cold towns. The living can join them there, but once you cross the border, you can't leave. Tana, our protagonist, wakes up in a party gone wrong. Everyone around her is dead except for 2 other people, and those 2 have been bitten. She needs to find a cure before they are all forever changed. And only one place has that cure. Can you get... Yeah, you figured it out. Anyway. Next book, #MurderTrending. Yeah, I said it right. This is by Gretchen McNeil. The last one was by Holly Black, sorry. It fits in solidly for fans of The Running Man or Cell. The Running Man's kind of like the old Hunger Games. But this one tends to be more like campy, humorous horror stuff. Dee has been sentenced to Alcatraz 2.0. It's a reality show that's set in a prison where the inmates are filmed and allowed to murder people. And they grow huge followings online the crazier they are. It should be a breeze for a teenage girl who can barely throw a punch, right? Whew. Our next one is Wilder Girls by Rory Power. Now this is kind of like The Stand, where there's a deadly virus that breaks out. Sounds familiar? Except for it's at an all-girls school. And so the school is quarantined, and the girls are told to stay alive, help is coming. That was months ago. Hattie, who's our protagonist, her best friend goes missing. And she searches everywhere. Can't find her. The only place left to look is outside of school grounds. And she is not ready for what is out there. Our next one, number 4, The Dead House, one of my favorites, Dawn Grunigic. This has definite Carrie vibes to it. Both books have this feeling of looking back on a tragedy and kind of trying to piece together what happens or cover it up. Right? The book did a trial that was after all the events of the book. This one is a little different. It does witness interviews, found footage, diary entries, and psych evals that kind of give it a real non-fiction feel to it, and I highly recommend it. Next, last one, I'm not sure what King book this relates to. It does kind of relate to his writing overall, though. It's called Not Even Bones by Rebecca Schaefer, and this is a cool book. The main girl, Nita, dissects supernatural beings that her mother acquires to sell parts on the internet. Creepy, right? But Nita draws the line when her mother brings home a real boy, or a live boy. So that sounded like Pinocchio for a second. Sorry. So she passes, but letting him escape now puts her in the cage instead. Now Nita has to become the monster that she has always resisted trying to be. And that's all we have. Thanks for tuning in. You can check out more on our YouTube page. And I want to say thanks.